Welcome to the Mukilteo Football Show. My name is Miles.
My name is Kirk. Super Bowl week, baby.
Super Bowl 59 preview. We're recording Sunday night before the Super Bowl week.
Yeah.
I kind of think that that's nice.
This is our game day.
Yeah. we're not going to have like all the radio row and all the narratives that are going to come out of this like incessant week. We are talking to you free and clean of that.
Nothing I hate more than media week.
Yeah, it's bad.
The fact that there is a thing called media week drives me nuts now.
Yeah.
And the players don't like it either. Just,
No.
I'm here so I won't get fined.
It starts to, like, all the pageantry is stupid, and I think everyone knows is stupid. But what really bugs me is we bring out all the old NFL stars and stuff like that.
Yep.
And they're not there to really talk football. They're there to, and you're here on behalf of, Annie's yogurt or whatever, like
some corporation
or some
making
foundation,
money, just money being pushed to every direction.
Yeah. Not my jam, but you're not going to get any of that. Just football talk here.
Hell yeah.
Maybe some legacy talk. We like to take the game, especially Super Bowl, especially the playoffs, in terms of NFL history and legacy.
59 Super Bowls.
Wow.
Pretty impressive.
Next year will be Super Bowl 60. That's going to be a big deal. We should do something for that, but
the 60th?
Yeah. Rank our 60 Super Bowls or something.
I like that. Yeah.
All right, let's start, as we've started every playoff preview with, looking back a week and looking at the losers. And I think we're both a little muted on the Super Bowl matchup. It's another Super Bowl rematch.
From just 2 years ago. Yeah.
Recent rematch. But also part of it comes from what we could have had.
Yeah.
Last year, we could have had the Lions in the Super Bowl, and we didn't. This year, it could have been the Bills. And it just felt,
it was tough.
that they lost. The Buffalo Bills.
It's taken me a week to get over.
Me too.
Like so many things that went wrong in that game that could have went the Bills' way, and we could be so happy about this Super Bowl matchup.
Yeah.
If it's Bills in the Super Bowl right now, I would have been pumped all week.
Yeah. Bills, Eagles is a great matchup.
Yeah.
They had a good game last year, I believe. One of the best games of the season.
Yeah, the overtime game.
Yeah. This hurt. Took me a long time to get over it. I don't think I could have done the preview on like Tuesday.
No.
It was just heart-wrenching. And like, how could Buffalo deserve this? They lose for a fourth time to Kansas City. The whole arc is horrible. They're 0-4 in the Super Bowls.
In the playoffs.
In the early 90s.
Oh, okay, that, yeah.
0-4 in the Super Bowl in the early 90s. They slowly fade. The Jim Kelly era fades. Then they go through 20 years of being in a division with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. They get absolutely beat down.
Yep.
They get their own elite quarterback.
Finally.
And they're just second fiddle to this dynasty that has knocked them out 4 times. It's brutal. It's sickening. They can beat the Chiefs. They've beat them 4 times in the regular season.
Yeah.
It's just not fair.
And 3 of those losses in the playoffs are close. Like super close. The 13
Very
seconds
close.
game, the wide right 2, then this game on Sunday. Like, that was brutal.
Yeah. Do you think this is worse than the 90s?
I think the way where football is now, yes. Because I think back then it wasn't like nobody was expecting the Bills to really go to 4 Super Bowls. So you made it to 4. You're like, okay, good job. Like, that's an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, and they got to kind of cruise through the AFC, so they got all those happy weekends.
Yeah. They were doing okay. They're like, okay, we had Kelly and Thomas and Andre Reed. We're Bruce Smith. We're a good team.
Cornelius Bennett,
and we're making it to Super Bowls. At least we got a chance. And now it's like, every time you're in the playoffs, you're like, oh man, when do we have to play the Chiefs? We're going to lose. We're going to friggin' lose.
Yeah.
And that they're not going to get rid of that until they finally get over the hump and make it to a Super Bowl. Yeah. And even if they make it to a Super Bowl and if they didn't beat the Chiefs, the people will still be like, they didn't deserve it.
You're right.
It's going to be one of those narratives.
Wow. It's sad. Yeah, that would be, they have to beat the Chiefs in order to make it like a true NFL history narrative. Now they put themselves in this position. It just sucks.
I know, and it's brutal.
All this said, they deserve to lose that game.
You think so?
The defense deserved to lose that game. the only reason they didn't give up 40 points was because Mahomes fumbled a handoff in the red zone. I mean, it should have been 28-10 at halftime.
It really should have.
And then they just gave, Josh Allen had some magic, but when Kincaid dropped that ball, Buffalo still had 3 timeouts. They just needed to not give up 2 first downs. And they didn't fight at all. There was no fight.
Immediately.
They gave up those first downs immediately.
Oh, yeah.
The Bills' defense should be ashamed. They just didn't deserve to win the game.
No, Bills' defense didn't. Yeah. I mean,
exactly.
I give them that. And then a couple stupid coaching errors. You know, they took the extra point off the board, went for 2. That ended up being a big factor in the game because then they ended up missing 2 extra points, and the Chiefs converted 1 extra point.
Yeah, so and they went for 2 twice and missed it. See, we talked about that when that happened, when the Chiefs converted their 2-point conversion.
Yep.
That's what winners do. Losers miss them.
Yep, and that's exactly how it turned out. People want to blame the refs, and I still think it was a first down.
Me too.
But that wasn't the game.
Right.
It still wasn't the game. There was a lot else that happened that the Bills lost. Like you said, their defense sucked. They probably should have given up 40-something. So, you know, I mean, you can't just blame the refs, people, and just think it's all a hoax like that. I still think it was a first down. I think the line judges were in different spots, whatever. But it came down to a lot of other factors.
Yeah, that line judge was absolutely wrong to run out there with such confidence. Where did he get that confidence from? I don't know. But it was close. It was so close. Yeah. Why is Josh Allen getting stuffed on the short yardage over and over again? Why did it have to be so close?
And that's like his 7th QB sneak in a row. Why do we keep calling that?
So we're working through our Buffalo feelings.
Where is James Cook in the 4th quarter? I mean, is there an undisclosed injury that I didn't hear about?
I'm sure there was.
That touchdown he scored on 4th and 1. 4th and goal.
Yeah.
That was huge.
That was huge.
That was fantastic.
It also looked like it hurt.
It looked like he took a blow to the back. And I haven't heard anything
his arms
yet.
fell.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know. Bills, like you said, I think they deserve to lose that game. I wish they won it. Another season of great football ruined by a loss to the Chiefs in the playoffs.
Buffalo fans, you did not deserve this. We are with you.
I know. I'm with you 100%. I'll keep rooting for you forever.
Meanwhile, the Commanders also lost. Their feeling is much better. They're, like we didn't even need to be there, really.
We didn't deserve to be there, and they acted like it.
Yeah, they did. They lost 55-23 to the Eagles. They horrifically gave up 7 rushing touchdowns.
Ugh.
The only other in a situation where a team has given up 7 rushing touchdowns in a playoff game is the 1940 NFL Championship between the Bears and the Redskins.
Holy smokes.
Which is remembered also as the 70-0 game, or the most points of all time.
Yeah.
72, yeah. So you don't want to do that. I was actually
you don't want to be in that company.
I was actually joking when that guy Luvu was jumping over the line, and the refs were saying we're gonna. If he does this again, we're going to award the score to the Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
They should have just done that to be petty about the stats.
Yeah.
Because then the Eagles wouldn't have 7 rushing touchdowns. They'd have 6.
Yeah.
And every headline would have to say the Eagles had 6 rushing touchdowns plus 1 awarded score. And over the years, that would go away. We'd just remember just the 6 rushing touchdowns. And when another team scores 7 touchdowns, the 2024 Eagles wouldn't even be brought up.
I like that. I wish teams would do that against Jalen Hurts and stop giving him 1-yard rushing touchdowns. Just be petty and be like, no, we're going to make you get the awarded referee touchdown because we don't agree with this stupid BS.
Yeah. So the Commanders, they turned into what we thought they were, which was the worst defense in the NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
And they showed up and they just got bullied.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It was tough. And then another bad NFC Championship game in Philly.
I know. What the heck?
I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah. The Vikings 2017, 49ers 2022, Commanders 2024. Why can't a team go into Philly and make at least a good game?
Right? At least make it close. At least 10-point game, please.
Do you think the Commanders are coming back? Or do you think this was, the start of something great?
Oh, man. This was the shot.
Okay.
I mean, next year, you were second to worst team in the league. You had the number 2 pick.
Yeah.
Now you are one of the top 4 teams. As I say on this podcast a lot, if you're the hunter, it's much easier. When you're the hunted, it's a lot harder to keep that.
Yeah.
So now they've got to change. They're no longer underdogs. They are the ones being hunted after. There's no more freebies. People are like, we know what you're made of. You have to work for every single win. Yeah. And I don't know if they're going to be able to keep that, success going throughout a whole season next year. Plus, they stayed pretty healthy for the most part this season.
That was something.
So that's something to that. So next year, I expect a little bit of a fallback. I do think Jaden Daniels is awesome. They will be competitive going forward, but getting to another NFC Championship game next year doesn't sound likely to me.
Not as is. I completely agree with you. They will need to keep the gas pedal floored to the metal, trying to improve that defense and get more dynamic and better weapons on offense.
Yeah.
They cannot take this and just roll it back.
You got to improve that defense.
Yeah,
because your offense is going to take a little regression, and you need to be able to stop people. And, well, you couldn't. It showed. Yeah. I mean, you really couldn't stop the Lions either.
Yeah, that's right.
So
you're exactly right. It was really turnovers against the Bucs and Lions that that maybe weren't fully forced by the Commanders. So we saw that come out. All right, so that gives us this.
So there goes the losers.
Yeah, there goes this.
Down
Gives
to
us
2.
this rematch. Kansas City Chiefs going for the three-peat against the Philadelphia Eagles, who they beat in the first game of this potential three-peat.
Yeah.
NFL Films, this is going to suck if they do get the three-peat, because now we got 2 Eagles games in the mix. So we don't even know, as we do the montage, we don't even know what we're watching. Which Super Bowl is that?
Yeah.
It's always bugged me at the Steelers dynasty, or like we're watching the Steelers, you see a ram falling to the ground. You see a Viking here or there.
Yeah.
But like if it's a Cowboy, you don't know which Super Bowl that was.
Yeah.
It's not showing the proper visuals of 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking about that.
I've never been a fan of repeat Super Bowls anyways. Yeah. It just, especially when it's so close like this. I mean, just it bothers me.
Yeah.
And there's not many newcomers to this whole 2 and 3 years.
No. Same
rematch.
Same quarterbacks, largely same defenses.
Receiver.
Yeah. Isaiah Pacheco was in the last Super Bowl, for crying out loud.
Right?
I mean, jeez.
Barkley's kind of the only newcomer, and maybe a couple of defensive guys.
DeAndre Hopkins, so he's been super quiet.
Yeah.
But that Super Bowl was awesome.
It was a good
Super Bowl 57 was a 10 out of 10 Super Bowl with a 6 out of 10 ending.
Holding.
It just, the actual game was as entertaining as any Super Bowl game has ever been.
Yeah.
It was like so much happened in the first half, 14-14. There's a defensive fumble. Hurts got strip sacked.
Yep, and they take it to the house.
Yeah, there was all sorts of stuff. And then the back and forth in the second half with the big drives from Hurts and Mahomes, the punt return from Tony. All sorts of stuff. The Chiefs came back from 10. The Eagles took the lead with a big bomb to Devonta Smith.
Yep.
Actually went out the 1, and then they
ran it.
Pushed it in.
I hate the push, man.
Chiefs get the ball. That was about 5 minutes left where Hurts pushed in and took the lead back for the Eagles. They get the ball 5 minutes. The Chiefs need to go down there, and they could waste the time and kick a field goal. But that was certainly no guarantee with like 5+ minutes left to go. And ultimately, they get to that 3rd and 8. Juju Smith-Schuster gets held by Bradbury,
And it was a hold.
It was
Anybody who doesn't think it was a hold, you're a fool.
I think that referee debacle was most hurt by the broadcast.
Yeah.
Because I rewatched it today, and the hold is with his right hand on his hip.
Yeah.
And the broadcast kept saying, I guess he gets him there with the left hand. They like pause it. This is like after the hold, Olsen. Greg Olsen is just talking and talking and talking. It's like, you have not shown the hold.
Yeah.
I still think they should have let it go. It was still kind of a weak hold, but it wasn't as weak as the broadcast made it seem.
At that point in the game, you need to let that go.
Yes.
Because that happens almost every play.
And the throw was
a way over his head.
Way over his head. Yeah.
So, the call, technically it was a hold.
Yes.
But, it's like kind of let that go. And then, and I agree with you, the podcast didn't show the right angle.
Yeah.
It wasn't talking about where the actual hold was.
That has confused a lot of people.
We didn't figure that out till way later. Mm-hmm. And most people after the Chiefs won just turned off their TVs and didn't watch until, until free agency came up again.
Yeah, because that gave the Chiefs the first down, and then they got another first down with McKinnon sliding it at the 2. So that just a real, just kind of lackluster ending.
to a great game. Because there were so many awesome plays. Like the strip sack, the A.J. Brown catch on the pylon. That was fantastic.
Just so much good stuff.
I mean, it kind of sucks at a lot of the things where Jalen Hurts getting tush pushes, but,
Yeah, but there are a lot of more fourth downs, too, so it's dramatic stuff.
Yeah. It kept you on the edge of your seat, and I got to give the Chiefs credit for that. Every Super Bowl they've played has been like, oh my God, who's going to win this friggin' game?
Well, except the Buccaneers.
The one they lost. Yeah. But they were missing both their tackles in that game.
Thank you, Chiefs, for keeping up the tradition of the Patriots. If you're going to be in the Super Bowl all the time, give us some classics.
At least make it entertaining. Yeah.
What's funny is last year's Super Bowl, Chiefs 49ers, was boring for 3 quarters.
Oh, yeah.
And then had an insane ending, fourth quarter and overtime. So if you combine the last 2 Super Bowls, we've had classics.
They've been good. Yeah. So I'm okay with that. But we are talking, this is 5 out of the last 6 Super Bowls, right? That have been with the Chiefs in there. And that's pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
That's where this Chiefs fatigue comes in. People are mad at all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Andy Reid this is a dynasty. They're going for a three-peat. That's pretty remarkable.
It's awesome. It's awesome for history.
Yeah.
But it was hard to live through the Patriots dynasty too.
Yeah.
Have you seen all these articles? This will probably keep coming up, but like there was a headline, people, all right, I wrote down 3 headlines that they're going to piss you off, and I'm going to have you rebuttal them. People hated, this is from the article. People hated Brady because they couldn't beat him. They hate Mahomes because they aren't allowed to beat him, and it's a picture of the refs. Oh. It's like, dude, you do not remember the hate for Brady.
Yeah. The hate for Brady was because he wasn't the guy that was actually winning the games.
Yeah, because they were cheaters. People called him cheaters all the time.
Spygate, man. Yeah. Like, nobody remembers Spygate.
Yeah.
Spygate.
Deflategate, yeah.
It didn't come out until 2007, and all those tapes of, like, recording defensive coordinators making signs goes back to 2000 when Belichick started. Yeah. But it was the defense that won them those championships. It wasn't Brady, and I will stick with that to my death. He did not. It wasn't because of Brady. Those first 3 are definitely not because of Brady.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I hate them giving credit for the refs winning Mahomes these things. I don't think that's right either. There's a lot of football that gets played. It's not just because of these 1 or 2 calls.
Yeah, I definitely agree that we hated Brady later because of all the cheating and stuff like that. He didn't win those first 3 Super Bowls himself in the way that he later won some Super Bowls.
Yes.
So he almost hurt his own legacy because he did so good here that you look back on 2001, 3, and 4, and you're like, oh, he wasn't that good.
Yeah. Yeah. He was the one leading the charge towards the end.
Here's another one. Chiefs are even more unlikable than the Patriots. What's the worst thing about the Patriots? Maybe cheating? Brady not likable? Give me a break. It's like, dude, do you not remember? This, like, the absolute recency bias in this drives me nuts. That's why I'm bringing these up.
Yeah.
Like, what? We hated the Patriots.
Yeah.
Everyone hated them.
This has got to be written by people that were not actually old enough when they were watching these. This is like me hating the Cowboys when they were winning in the early 90s. I wasn't old enough to really, truly hate them.
Right.
For any particular reason.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm imagining. This is some, like, 27-year-old person being like, this is why we hate this.
Yeah.
They're really just talking about the Chiefs.
Yeah, and, anyone can post an article now on the line, and I'm sure they are, like, young people. What this really says is, like, boy, the Chiefs hate is really visceral right now.
Yeah.
Something that I don't currently feel for the Patriots. That's what they should be saying.
Yeah.
Because the Patriots are over.
That's a better way to put it. You should have put it into the AI simulator and let them rewrite that for you.
Exactly.
And I don't really, like, hate the Chiefs the way I hated the Patriots. I still like Andy Reid.
Yeah.
I got no problems with Travis Kelce, the Taylor Swift stuff. People probably don't like all that, media, whatever. But that has nothing to do with football.
Right.
I didn't like the Patriots because they were cheating at football and because they got way more credit than they actually deserved.
And I don't fully... I'm not as big on the cheating for the Patriots. I think people started to really push that because they hated the Patriots so much that they began to really narratively push that. Yes, the Patriots push the boundaries, but I just think you're living in a time where we hate the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But one day, 27-year-old guy that you were talking to, one day in like 2038, someone's going to tell you nobody hated the Chiefs,
right?
As much as we hate the current Vikings dynasty or whatever.
Vikings dynasty? Oh no,
I'm trying.
Cleveland Browns.
It's equally as unlikely as the Chiefs. We never thought the Chiefs would have a dynasty.
I'll give you that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. The comparisons are really tough to make because I don't think anybody hates. Nobody hates Andy Reid.
Nobody. Yeah, Andy Reid is the secret sauce to this barbecue sauce. I mean, you cannot hate Andy Reid. It's funny that there will be a whole generation of people who don't remember Andy Reid's legacy before this dynasty.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not a small legacy. It's 20 years of being good enough to run an offense, bad at clock management, chokes at the end. That was the Andy Reid. He was Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
He was Kyle.
Exactly.
It's like pretend Kyle Shanahan currently goes another 10 years of this. That's where Andy Reid was.
Yeah.
And then pretend Kyle Shanahan has a dynasty.
With the Vikings.
Yeah, with the Vikings. If this happens, please let it happen.
Right? Gotta give us props. We predicted it.
But like that, yeah, Andy Reid, you just cannot like root against Andy Reid.
No.
And I don't really hate Mahomes or Kelce. I have no problem with the Taylor Swift stuff.
Yeah, me
the
neither,
people who do are weird. It's kind of like there's a disingenuous side to that too, where it's like, oh, they're showing her all the time. Like, first of all, they don't show her half as much as Matthew McConaughey in a Texas game.
No kidding.
But also, it's not like she is some like float along musical act. Like when she steps into Arrowhead Stadium, she actually is more famous than even Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
Than even Travis Kelce. This, like I said, this is Madonna dating Deion Sanders. This is Joe Namath and Paul McCartney in the late 60s. This is a huge name.
What a couple.
What if Namath and McCartney got together in 1969?
Would have blown people's minds.
Would have blown people's minds.
New York would never be the same.
But my point is the music like part of this like holds its end. She is not coasting on the NFL.
Yeah.
So it just does not bother me.
She's got her own career.
Yeah.
And I do think a lot of this hatred is just kind of today's media around things like this. We're so like overreactionary to everything.
Yeah.
It's got to be so instantaneous. You got to get your money somehow. Some of these people are just doing it just to do it. Like, I don't think people actually hate the Chiefs as much as they think they hate the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there was actual hatred because of the game. Like to me, the cheating thing with the Patriots is a big thing for me.
Yeah. All right.
Because
you also come in pre-hating the Patriots.
It's the integrity of the game. There's nothing the Chiefs are doing that is actually hurting the integrity of the game unless you want to truly believe the refs are rigging it for them. Yeah. If you're that person, I am fine with your hatred for the Chiefs. If it's a different reason, I don't agree with you.
Yeah.
No reason to hate them.
And there are people who believe it's being rigged. There are people who throw in the gambling, era into this.
I have my own conspiracy
you got your
on
conspiracies on that. But I also think like some of the like devil magic Chiefs stuff this year doesn't really hold up. Like when I go back and I think about week 1, 2, and 3, Ravens win, the Bengals win, the Falcons win. Those are often described as like the Chiefs just pulled out those wins. It's like, not really.
Yeah.
They like the Ravens were attempting a furious comeback. They were losing the game. They attempted this furious comeback when they threw that ball to Blake Lively.
Yeah.
And he went out.
Not Blake Lively.
Blake Lively. What is Isaiah Likely? What the heck?
Blake Lively. If she was a tight end, it'd be a miracle.
They shouldn't have done that because she's not an eligible receiver.
Yeah.
They threw that ball to Blake Likely.
Isaiah.
Oh my God. Threw that ball to Isaiah Likely.
There we go.
That was 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
And because they were desperately going down the field. They didn't get a 4th down because time expired. Like that was not the Chiefs had that game and the Ravens missed an opportunity.
And when the 2-point conversion, they went for the win. He was out of bounds.
Yeah.
The replay, his toes out of bounds. I'm sorry, man, but it's happened before.
Exactly.
Des Bryant had a game winner in regular season against the Giants, and he literally had like a pinky on the line that came down first, and they called him out of bounds. So get over it.
Yeah. But my point was like that was right at the last second they got that touchdown, and even the 2-point conversion was only going to send them to overtime. The Bengals one, that was pass interference.
It was.
Anybody with was on offense. Any fan whose team is on offense would be furious if that flag didn't come out.
If they didn't throw that, yeah.
The Falcons one is not devil magic at all. It's the Falcons. They stuffed Bijan Robinson twice on 4th and goal. What's magic about that?
Right.
Nothing. So really, those games only kind of became devil magic when they were added to blocking the kick, the Broncos kick.
Yeah.
But they did that. You know, like,
and that was earned.
They earned it.
Yeah.
The Broncos kicker didn't miss. They blocked it. And the fact that he doinked in
the field goal against the Chargers
to win the division. Yeah. If that field goal goes straight through, I mean, we almost have nothing.
Yeah.
In terms of devil magic, we just have a really good offense, Pat Mahomes, a decent offense, Pat Mahomes, and a really good defense. Like the Chiefs' defense is doing so good, playing so well. We just don't know, like all this little like close game stuff. It's all because of the Chiefs' defense. They are in every single game because their defense keeps them in the game.
Yeah.
And therefore, the conditions for all of these crazy things to happen are
created by
exponential.
them.
Yeah,
you know?
They're created by the defense.
They work to have that situation play out.
Yeah.
And they practice that. Andy Reid's a great coach. So, like, you know, it gets close. It's a 1-score game. I'm trusting Andy Reid in those situations, which I'm sure he preaches to the team as well.
And he does, like, the great thing about the way the Chiefs dynasty has worked is Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes are getting multiple chances at every single game.
Yeah.
Because the defense keeps keeping them in it.
Yeah.
That is this dynasty. It is not devil magic. It is an elite defense appeared out of nowhere for this freaking Chiefs team. They don't deserve it, but they got it.
They did get it. Yeah. Because Chris Jones was basically all they had.
Yeah.
For those first 2 Super Bowls they went to, it was Chris Jones and nobody basically back there.
Now they're just rolling so deep at linebacker, so deep in the secondary. Spags is back in his bag. One of the best.
I love him.
I mean, that is what's happening. And that was like the main point I was going to make on today's podcast. We got into it early, but the Chiefs defense won them a Super Bowl last year, and they're on their way to win another Super Bowl this year, potentially.
Yeah. For the three-peat, first time in NFL history.
Yeah.
And some people want to say the Packers won 3 in a row. The first 2 Super Bowls they had won the previous year.
Right. They won. So basically they won the NFC Championship the year before the Super Bowls existed. So we don't know. That one's a question.
That's the question. But
would they have beaten the Buffalo Bills in 65? Bills were 65 AFL champions.
Just more hurt to the Bills. Bill fans have clicked off already.
Bills fans didn't get that Super Bowl because the Super Bowl was invented the next year, and they went to the AFC Championship. Yeah. And 66, they had a chance to go to another AFL, the first Super Bowl. They lost to the Chiefs. Sorry, everybody.
I know, it's so sad. But to me, Super Bowl wasn't invented yet. This is the first three-peater.
Okay, I agree with you.
For the chance for the three-peater.
I agree with you, because they didn't win the Super Bowl. Yeah. They didn't win the equivalent of the Super Bowl. They won the equivalent of the NFC Championship. So I agree with you.
And it's amazing, like, for football fans, for this not to be so much more hyped as a three-peat opportunity, because nobody that's won 2 Super Bowls has actually made it back here.
Right.
So and everybody's just so down on it. Like, I don't really like it so much, but I'm still like, for the legacy of it all, it is pretty cool to watch somebody go for the three-peat.
I feel like it is inevitable that people wouldn't care about the three-peat. Like, you think of 1990 49ers versus the Giants. The 49ers are trying to get back into the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Joe Montana got hurt. People were so happy. People were so happy.
Yeah.
Yay. And then 94, the opposite happened. The 49ers saved us from another Cowboys Super Bowl. Everyone was sick of the Cowboys and stuff like that. So, you know, no matter what, the three-peat was not going to be popular while it happened.
Yeah. Nobody else really wants it to happen. But, you know, you still got to appreciate it while it's happening.
Yeah.
So there's respect there.
Yeah. And that perspective is good, like, reminder for me, too. It's because, like, it's hard to, because you're so invested in the day-to-day, week-to-week of the NFL season. But a three-peat, I mean, we'll remember this already. We're going to remember this forever.
Yeah.
You know, by the way, Dolphins did have a chance at a three-peat. They just didn't know it. They played the Cowboys in Super Bowl 6.
Oh, yeah.
And then they won Super Bowl 7 and 8.
They won the undefeated season 72.
Yeah, so had they won that first one, they would have had a three-peat.
Okay.
I said Dolphins, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But Anyway, we should probably get to the game.
Probably.
Though we still have time. This is a nice thing about only having one
game to talk about.
We still got 15 minutes.
Yeah, so buckle up.
Yeah. Actually, I did have one more thing.
Ooh.
The Chiefs' streak of one score games.
Yeah.
I hate that streak. It's not a streak. It's not a streak if the thing that to preserve it is losing by more than one score.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, a streak is something that is like you continuing excellence, one upon a compounding excellence. Joe DiMaggio getting a hit every game is a streak. You can't call winning one score games a streak. Like, they lost to Buffalo, but they lost by 2 scores, so the streak goes on. So, I mean, if they had kicked a field goal instead of throwing an interception, then the streak would end.
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense. Like, they get blown out by the Broncos in week 18 when they rest their starters. That doesn't hurt the streak.
Yeah.
That's not a streak. Anyway.
Yeah, the point differential thing, that is not a streak to me.
It's
I
a
agree
statistical
with you on that.
anomaly. The one score games in a row, blah, 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 blah.
You win the game, if you win 20 games in a row, that's a streak.
Mm-hmm.
You get 10 touchdowns in a row, that's a streak for an individual player.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But point differential, that's just a made up stat thing. Analytical BS, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, let's go each side of the ball here. Kansas City offense versus Eagles defense.
Oh, yeah.
The Philadelphia defense. Then the Philadelphia offense versus the Kansas City defense. What do you want to start with? Mahomes or Hurts?
I think let's just start with Mahomes.
Okay, yeah, we're kind of on a Chiefs thing.
We'll
close hard with the Eagles.
We're talking Mahomes. People are talking GOAT status at this point, and you got to give him credit. 5 Super Bowls in the last 6 years.
Yeah,
he's always made it to the AFC Championship game.
Yes.
So, but this team, this offense is better than last year's offense.
Agreed.
I think last year was the lucky one. When everybody looks back at if they get this three-peat, last year was the lucky one. Yeah. Their offense was not good last year.
Yeah. And winning that Ravens AFC Championship, that was Andy Reid pulled that one out of a hat.
Yeah. This one I like. Juju's good, smart receiver. Doesn't need the ball a bunch. I like Marquise Brown's back, Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
He started the game early with the Bills. Like, he got 2 good slant routes right off the bat. He's a factor. DeAndre Hopkins has been nice and steady, quiet.
Yeah. In the playoffs, especially.
Travis Kelce hasn't did a lot in the Texans game, but didn't do much in the Bills game. But he's still there. So you got 4 really good weapons to pass to with Pacheco and Hunt, and I think Hunt's been better than Pacheco.
Yeah, I do too.
This has been a solid offensive unit. And I think when we were watching the game, we're like, we haven't seen this all season.
Yeah.
This is the best we have seen the Chiefs offense look the entire year.
It's
starting to come together at the right time.
and to your point, last year it was like Tony, MVS. Yeah. Justin Watson getting a bunch of targets.
It was
Sky
ugly.
Moore.
Ugly.
Yeah.
This year there's people, there's veterans, there's he's got options. These are smart receivers, and this is still without Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
But I mean,
if they had Rice,
they've got plenty of options. Mahomes is just a tactician back there. He reads that offense so well. He works the cadence well.
Yep.
He's just he knows where to go.
Yeah. He is playing the Tom Brady game.
Yeah.
Which is just don't make a mistake. Like, you can jog off the field after 3 and out or after 1 first down. No one will remember this. No one's going to remember this.
No one cares.
No one's going to remember this.
Yeah.
You could do that when you have a nice defense, an elite defense, which he does.
Yes.
Which he does.
But offensively, I like this Chiefs offense.
Yeah.
But against Philly's defense, it's a little tougher this game. This is probably the best defense they've seen this postseason.
Definitely. We just talked about I'm not at all impressed by Buffalo's defense. And I've always been relatively lukewarm on Houston's defense. So I think this is a whole different beast.
Oh, yeah.
This is Vic Fangio coming home to Philadelphia. He has got something absolutely cooking here. This is a defensive Super Bowl. I think it's going to be.
You think so?
I think both
like
defenses.
Last year?
Yeah. There is something special here with Vic Fangio and this particular team. They're deep at corner. It's too bad they lost Nakobe Dean for the season. They still have another good linebacker in there, Baum or whatever.
Yeah.
They've got the big beef up front. I mean, and they just play with a chip on their shoulder that is so Philadelphia. Like the heart of this team is Vic Fangio. And I don't think it's been talked about enough because of Saquon Barkley.
Oh, yeah.
But Vic Fangio last year, when he was coordinating for the Dolphins, we were kind of all done with him. We're like, he changed the NFL in 2018 with the Bears, and everyone runs the Fangio defense now, but it looks like he's lost a piece. But remember something he said after he took the Philly job, which was the people in Miami don't want to work.
Oh yeah,
remember he said something like that.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
and the Chiefs. I mean, the Eagles. Man, this defense is working.
Yeah,
I could not have been more impressed with them through the playoffs.
They get a lot of pressure without rushing a lot of guys.
Right.
And Jalen Carter, that guy's been an absolute dog.
Yeah. He's becoming a superstar, and I hope he's healthy. I know he got a little hurt in the NFC Championship. I mean, I know he's going to play.
He's got 2 weeks to rest. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Jordan Davis, big old beef up there. The two Georgia beefs.
Do you remember when Jalen Carter, everyone's like, he can't be the number one pick because of some off-season, off-the-field troubles?
Yes, I do.
Definitely should have been the number one pick.
Yeah.
You're
right.
Bryce Young was not the first pick. It was Jalen Carter.
They also said don't draft Dan Marino because of off-season or off-the-field issues.
So keep that in mind for the draft.
Yeah.
If somebody's got off-season troubles, Randy Moss,
also
same thing. That guy's about to be good.
Just think about everyone that you live with all the time and how you don't really even know them. Think about that before you start saying somebody has all these troubles and work ethic things. You don't know them.
Right?
Don't make that judgment.
But, I think
it was on tape the whole time.
It was on tape. Mm-hmm. But Fangio's got this defense working. There are lapses. They still gave up some points to the Rams when they probably shouldn't have. Mm-hmm. They still gave up some points to the Commanders when they probably shouldn't have. The game against the Packers, they're playing against only like 3 wide receivers. There's still lapses, there's holes, and the Chiefs will expose some of that.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm wondering, how hard this team will play if the Chiefs just stay with them.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, to rebuttal that, what did happen to the Rams? Little fake stunt there, and the defense just said, shut the hell up and go home. And they pushed Stafford from the 6-yard line back to the 20-yard line in 4th and 10.
You got a point. Yeah.
I mean, I just like this defense, and I really am rooting for the Vic Fangio of it all. It's kind of fun because he has created this defense that has become the big NFL storyline since 2018. He's really got no chance. He's had no real shot at success.
Oh yeah.
So this is kind of a big thing for me. I'm rooting for defensive games.
Yeah. And remember, Philly fans, you were complaining about your coordinators last year. Mm-hmm. Appreciate it this year.
Yes.
I hope you guys do.
Yes.
Because, we're about to talk about Kellen Moore on the offensive side. Mm-hmm. Appreciate what you got. You made some two good hires to get you where you needed to get.
It's just so funny that so much of the Eagles is related to coordinators.
Yeah.
That explains the 2022 season, the 2023 nosedive, and then this resurgence.
Yeah.
Coordinators are really important in Philadelphia. One other thing on this side of the ball, Travis Kelce, within range of the all-time playoff record for touchdowns, career touchdowns. He's at 20.
So what's Rice?
Jerry Rice at 22.
Ooh.
Now, Smith and Thurman, Emmitt Smith and Thurman Thomas are at 21. So Kelce's actually at 4th right now.
Okay.
So
1 to tie for second.
1 to tie for second, 2 to tie the lead,
first.
3. So if he gets a 3-touchdown day, I mean, and then he proposes to Taylor Swift,
on
a three-peat. I mean, just
man, that would be epic for him, man.
That's like the best possible thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he's really lost a step as people think he has. Mm-hmm. I think people have just kind of adapted to how he's been playing a little bit better as time has gone on. So, but, he's still a great player. Chiefs will figure out how to use him and get him the ball quite a few times in this game.
Yeah. I think they'll have trouble moving it.
Yeah.
But, I think Kelce will get something.
This is a good battle.
This is a good battle.
I really like this side of the ball.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be fun.
The other side of the ball is I'm a little more worried for Philadelphia here. So Jalen Hurts, that great offensive line, and Saquon Barkley come in to play the Chiefs defense that, like, I already kind of gave my whole spiel, and I'll take it, let you take it, but I already gave my whole spiel that the Chiefs defense is the dynasty right now. So, I mean, what do you think? Do you think that Hurts and Barkley are going to be able to move the ball against this Spagnuolo defense?
I'm going to start with the Chiefs defense.
Okay.
To agree with what you're saying. They are the reason this dynasty is this dynasty. Mahomes gets all the credit, but the defense has really held down the fort. Mm-hmm. And the fact that these guys aren't like household names besides Chris Jones baffles me. This whole defense has been fantastic. There should be more people that we know besides Chris Jones and McDuffie.
Yeah.
Like
Nick Bolton should be getting, Justin Reed should be getting more play.
These guys are potentially about to go on a three-peat.
Yeah.
And we're just not even talking about any of them.
It is crazy.
And they have been the best defense that maybe has ever existed. And that's a bold statement for 85 Bears, Legion of Boom, and the Ravens of Ray Lewis in 2000. But this one is sustained and has been successful.
Yeah.
So
that's hard to sustain defense, especially in this day and age.
Yeah. So I mean, props to the Kansas City defense. There is no denying their Hall of Famers written all up and down that defense right now.
Yeah.
So yes, Jalen Hurts has got his work cut out for him. Absolutely.
I'm worried about Hurts. Does him finally being able to pass the ball for the first time in 8 games comfort me because it happened against the Commanders?
Not really, because Commanders were a bad defense. You might as well rank them where the Bengals were.
Yeah, and that's the strength of this Spagnuolo, era is just there's so many depth pieces in the secondary and just such good disguises and pressure packages and stuff. It's like,
the problem with Jalen Hurts is he's not good at reading the defense up front.
He's a bad processor.
He doesn't have a good idea of what's going to happen once the ball is snapped. I don't think his cadence is that good. You get him in 3rd and shorts, 2nd and shorts, great quarterback. Yeah. Fantastic. But most quarterbacks are in 2nd and short and 3rd and short.
Yeah.
But first down's where it's all going to play out to me. Can they actually run the ball? What does Spagnuolo have dialed up to stop Saquon Barkley from breaking the big one?
Yeah.
From just keeping him down to 3 yards a carry? Can't we just continually just thump Barkley and say, throw it to Goddard, throw it to Smith, throw it to Brown? I'm going to leave them one-on-one coverage with my great secondary out there. Can you actually do it, Jalen Hurts? This is a legacy game for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
He loses this one, Philly will turn on him fast, especially if it's his fault.
And that sucks for him because he played a Super Bowl winning performance in 2022. Yeah. So it's that feels.
But Philly will turn on you quick.
But they will turn on you quick. Yeah. And it's also, this year is not like 2022. When I watched those highlights for Super Bowl 57, I was stunned by some of the plays, the throws that Hurts was making.
Yeah.
Where have those been?
I know.
I have not seen them. He is not throwing the ball well. He is not seeing the field. He is relying on a game to be close and to be in rushing mode.
Yeah.
And they have all these RPOs and stuff like that. And he is a major part of the rushing attack. So not to discredit him on this, but there's a game script where this just goes out of control.
Yeah.
And Hurts is completely overwhelmed.
To me, man, if the Chiefs even get a little bit of a lead, 2nd quarter, 3rd quarter, we go into halftime, the Chiefs are up by 7.
Yeah.
And the Eagles have to throw the ball at some point. It's out of control because they haven't had to do this all season.
Yes, I know. And
all season they've been playing from ahead. They've been able to maintain Barkley's going to finish it out for us in the 4th quarter. If they can't get to that point, this is trouble.
The path, perfectly said, the path to that point, to that 68-yard game-stealing touchdown from Saquon Barkley that they've killed teams with.
Yeah.
That's a very difficult path against an Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes, C. Spagnuolo team. This is so much different
than anything they've had to play against, really.
Yeah.
And they've had a pretty easy path coming in.
Yeah, they have.
Packers were riddled with injuries. Rams had Stafford who couldn't run.
Yeah.
It started snowing. Commanders probably didn't belong to be in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Chiefs are a lot more battle-tested coming into this game. But you got to say, they're the underdogs. Eagles are obviously the underdogs.
They are.
And if anybody doesn't think they're the underdogs, you're a fool.
You're a dang fool.
Yeah. But to me, this game is completely, can Jalen Hurts actually throw the ball? Can we get A.J. Brown involved? I liked Goddard getting involved a little bit in the last game.
Devonta
Smith is a game breaker.
Hamstring.
If he can get over the top, that's big. But disguising all these packages, Spagnuolo is going to bring a bunch of random stuff at him.
Yeah, I mean, look what Spagnuolo did to Josh Allen in that last sequence.
Exactly.
In the game. I mean, he absolutely flummoxed him. And Josh Allen is not easy to flummox.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is easy to flummox.
Yeah.
And so people are probably listening why aren't you guys talking about Saquon Barkley? Guy ran for 2,000 yards and stuff like that. But I think this kind of speaks to why... what I was going to say next, which is that Barkley needs the conditions to be perfect to do his thing.
Yes.
He needs the defense to shut down Mahomes. He needs the offensive line healthy, which they're not. they need to have a game script with which they're succeeding on first down and setting up these runs.
Yeah.
That is like, okay,
you're asking a lot.
That's almost the whole game that needs to be set up before you can deploy Saquon Barkley.
And we're talking about a defense that's carried you to 3 Super Bowls. That's who they're playing against right now.
Yes.
So, yes, I love Saquon Barkley. Yes, I love that Giants GM just has to eat it every single week that the Eagles move on. You should have just paid him $1 million more a season, you fool.
I will say this for him. To what end? They would have just been 5-12,
just to prevent him from being on the Eagles.
And that's fair.
You could have ruined Saquon's career.
Fair. But I just want to point out that Saquon Barkley, 2024 Saquon Barkley on the Giants means nothing. The Giants still suck. You know how I know that?
Yeah.
Because they sucked with him for 5 years before that.
I will agree with that. But that GM should be fired. I cannot believe he has a job.
Well, his reasoning was bad.
Yeah. His logic behind it was stupid. It was analytically driven.
I agree with that. But I just always like to throw that out. Like, Giants weren't in the playoffs with Saquon Barkley.
They weren't going to the Super Bowl anyways. Yeah. But I do like Saquon Barkley. I do think he will make some plays in this game. Mm-hmm. But remember Christian McCaffrey from last year? Christian McCaffrey was fantastic. Had a great season. Yeah. He came out. They kind of shut him down. He had a couple big plays, but they also forced a fumble from him. You know, they also made Brock Purdy have to throw the ball a little bit more. Yeah. They figured out how to shut down that run and make the weaker spot of the team on the offense do them be the stars.
Yeah.
That's why we're not talking about Saquon so much.
And it's like, it's just so difficult to make a game be in the hands of your running back.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to like halfway win the game first before that can happen.
Yeah.
Like that and one of the big stories of the week is going to be Saquon Barkley is only making blank while A.J. Brown makes this much, while DeAndre Hopkins makes this much. Like, but Saquon Barkley is doing this, to his credit, he's one of the elite running backs in the NFL. But he's creating an elite season because he's been paired with an elite offensive line.
Yes. Because
he's been paired with A.J. Brown on the outside is a huge deal
Certainly
to
helps.
this performance.
Yeah.
So should a team that has an elite offensive line and elite weapons on the outside pay more for their running back because they're going to make the running back get more stats? Like, I just don't get that.
Yeah, I don't get the logic
already
on that.
It's already gearing up and pissing me off. Maybe teams will finally evaluate the free agent running backs correctly.
Right.
But it's like, first of all, Saquon Barkley should have never been a free agent. We already covered that.
Yes.
No world should Saquon Barkley have been a free agent. But also, like, that is not how it works.
Yeah.
If Saquon Barkley signed with the Panthers, he'd be irrelevant.
Yeah. He would have had a bad season. He wouldn't have rushed for 2,000 yards.
So why should the Eagles pay more? Because they can make him better. I just don't get that.
It's people that don't understand the salary cap or how to run a franchise or the business of it all.
Yeah.
But, credit to Saquon Barkley. Fantastic running back. One of the best that's ever walked the game.
And he could. There's a version of this game
where he breaks it open.
Mm-hmm. Eagles defense snuffing out Mahomes, and if they just get to keep thumping it with Barkley, he is gonna break it open.
Oh, eventually.
You're absolutely right.
He will break one if the game works out for him.
He'll break more than one, probably.
Oh yeah, based on how he's been playing.
Yeah,
but one of the greatest seasons that any running back has had. So, you got to give him credit for that. I've never seen these guys actually make the Super Bowl, so I'm happy for that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because 06 Tomlinson was probably better, but they didn't make it.
Yeah.
Probably the last, elite running back season to make the Super Bowl is probably, Marshall Falk, 99.
Sean Alexander, did we make it that year? But besides that?
Yeah, 05 Alexander, yeah. But yeah, you don't see these guys getting the Super Bowl. That's a good point. That's kind of nice.
Derrick Henry's had a great career, never made the Super Bowl. Peterson, no. Lynch didn't put up a massive seasons.
No, he didn't. Nothing like this.
Nothing like this. Yeah.
This Barkley season is up there with the big boys. It's not quite there with 77 Walter Payton, 95 Emmitt Smith, but it's up there in the top 10, 15 running back seasons of all time.
Yeah. So
that's pretty fun. I like that. I like
that he made it. Yeah. But I guess I haven't talked about this part yet.
Okay.
Everybody gets a bye week. That's the thing about this. Chiefs get a bye week. Eagles get a bye week. So what we remember from week 1 is that the defense is flying around fast. Mm-hmm. So we got to remember that that's how the defense is playing. Okay. There's little games a little quicker than what you saw in those championship games.
Yeah.
People are a little more healthy. So, that generally spells doom for a rushing attack.
Yeah, you're right.
Because the defensive linemen move better. The linebackers are moving. The secondary, the safeties are getting up a little quicker.
A rushing attack is about wearing you down.
Yeah. Week one rushing always sucks.
You're right.
It just hardly ever works out. That's the problem with Super Bowls. You don't really, until the fourth or third quarter, they don't actually get going. And like we said, game script wise, Eagles are going to have a lead for Barkley to break one of those big ones.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting what happens early in this game because it's so different for the Eagles.
Yeah.
versus the other. All right. I think we got to pick the game here.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Does the season have to come to an end?
I did have one random thing. The tush push.
Oh, yeah.
2 years ago, all we were talking about is the tush push and it should be outlawed. Now it's been 2 years. And I think we can definitively say only Philadelphia is good at this.
They're the only ones. It's because Jalen Hurts can squat 500 pounds and Justin Herbert can't.
It's a little bit of positive for Hurts there after we kind of bashed him most of the preview.
I know, right?
All right. Okay, the season has to end. We need to pick this Super Bowl.
Oh, man. Oh, you know what? I think we get our first ever three-peat. That's who I'm picking. I'm getting the Chiefs. Get it out of the way. And now they can talk four-peat all they want next year, but let's just get the three-peat part out of the way. Somebody will have done it. I mean, I know this has happened in other leagues, baseball, basketball, hockey. People have won three-peats.
Oh, yeah.
Then they're going to start talking four-peat like best of all sports. I feel like that will go off the rails.
Yeah.
But in this game, I always go coaching. And if I'm looking at Andy Reid over Spagnuolo, I'm picking Andy Reid. Yeah. Fangio and Spags is even, in my opinion. Kellen Moore versus Matt Nagy, I'm calling that even.
Yeah.
So Andy Reid beats Spagnuolo. I don't trust Jalen Hurts.
Andy Reid beats Sirianni.
Yeah, Sirianni. Andy Reid just beating Spagnuolo in the locker room.
Did you give up a third down?
How dare you? But yeah, I don't trust Jalen Hurts with the ball either, coming down to the clutch. If the Chiefs are kind of get a lead, I think the Chiefs take this one. So, and props to it. We're watching history.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna say three-peat, and I'll be perfectly content with watching it. I'm not happy about the Super Bowl matchup, but I'll pick the Chiefs, and I will suck it up and appreciate greatness where greatness is.
Yeah, I think perspective for me is also part of this. Andy Reid that we started the podcast with, that's a great story. That's a story we should really try to focus on if the Chiefs are winning here. Like Andy Reid has turned himself from underrated legendary coach to one of the best of all time already.
Yeah.
And he can kind of seal it, with this because he has something that Belichick doesn't, which is success with a whole different franchise.
Yeah.
And without his quarterback, God dang it, Kirk. But without, he's got a whole decade or so without Mahomes that was super successful, multiple championships and NFC championship appearances and a Super Bowl appearance. So, the Andy Reid part of it, I'm picking Chiefs too, because I do not believe in the Philadelphia offense. I don't think they can do this.
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs defense is going to come out and just absolutely thump this. And how many big games do we sit around wondering about where the elite running back went?
Right.
It's like every college football championship. It's like over and over, except for that Arizona State guy.
Right.
So I see that script. The path for the Eagles is definitely a low scoring game where the Eagles defense steps up, which is certainly possible. But the Eagles are also kind of beat up on that offensive line. We didn't mention that. I think they're all going to play, but there's
lingering injuries.
Yeah.
Not fully healthy.
Yeah, there's something there. So, and just trying to take perspective too of these cities, Kansas City and Philadelphia, we shouldn't be hating them. They're not San Francisco. They're not Dallas. They're not New England. Even 8 years ago, Seattle, Minnesota, Philadelphia, Kansas City, we're the great cities of football that haven't been blessed with success. We're not tragedies, but we're not just passionate fan bases that are not getting rings.
Yeah.
Only 8 years ago, that was both of these teams.
Exactly.
Both of these cities, both of these fan bases. So they deserve a little bit more on the, let them keep eating a little bit here.
Yeah.
Thank God it's not Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, before it all falls apart, let them enjoy what they got, you know?
Yeah, what do you want, Pittsburgh, Dallas out there?
I
No,
know.
let Pittsburgh and Dallas suffer like they should be.
I like that. And
all right, we both picked Chiefs.
Both picking Chiefs. Andy Reid, three-peat, 2 of them against the Eagles.
Oh,
his former team. I like that narrative, too.
That is funny.
Just sticking it to him.
Now, what if Sirianni cries at the national anthem again?
Oh, they're definitely losing then. I hope there's a prop bet on it.
I'm sure there is.
I'm making that bet.
There's a prop bet on everything, Kirk.
If Stapleton comes out again, he's definitely crying.
Oh, yeah. Who's doing the national? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. We'll find out. But yeah, I am looking forward to the game for as much as I've hated it for a week. I'm like, yeah, it is a Super Bowl. It's still a good matchup.
Yep.
I wanted other teams in there. I wish it was like Bills Lions or something like that. But this is what we get. And I'll appreciate it for what it is. Yeah. We're watching history in the making.
Yes.
So
either way, too, like turning away a three-peat is going to be a legendary.
Yeah.
If there's a moment that happens where the Eagles win this game on some dramatic play and turn away a three-peat, it's going to be remembered even more because of that.
Let's think about that. The Seahawks.
Yeah.
Losing their game. That was a dynasty in the building. Sorry
10 years ago today.
Sorry to end this on
10
a
years ago
sour note.
Why are we throwing to Ricardo Lockett? Okay.
I know. Come on.
Gotta wash my mouth out of something else.
Andy Reid ain't doing that.
Andy Reid ain't doing that.
I can tell you that much.
Andy Reid's calling timeout.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I am looking forward to the game. I think it'll be good. It'll be entertaining. Yeah. Chiefs Super Bowls have been entertaining.
They have. I'll be in Disneyland, so I don't know what the heck, where I'm going to watch this.
Just ditch them.
Ditch them.
Go watch the game.
Well, we have planned that we're going to watch the game.
Okay. Yeah. That's good.
I would never.
You can't just miss the Super Bowl.
I've only missed one Super Bowl in my life. Panthers Patriots, because I had to work.
Oh, you got to rewatch that game.
I do.
That's a good one.
I don't think I've ever watched it.
Really?
I've seen the highlights.
Ooh.
I've seen all the big fourth quarter play and Muhammad's big play and stuff, but
I
don't think I've ever watched it.
Yeah.
Well, we can for the Super Bowl 60. We can do some sort of celebration where we
go through the Super Bowls. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if I want to watch all of them.
I don't know if I have the time to watch all of them.
Maybe we can do a selection, a scatter. We'll figure something out.
All right. That sounds good.
All right. My name is Miles.
I'm Kirk.
A good night.